So, you want to launch a subscription box and don't know where to start? Girl, you are in the right place. I'm Julie Ball, a subscription box coach and your host here at Subscription Box Basics, a podcast for new and aspiring subscription box entrepreneurs that want to avoid overwhelm. So grab a coffee, some pen and paper, and let's have some fun. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Subscription Box Basics. I'm Julie Ball, your host. And today I'm hanging with a girlfriend that is so super fun and high energy that you just need to buckle up right now. So I'm here with Renee from the Fresh Perspective community. She is the girlfriend you never thought you needed, whether you're in the beginning stages of starting your business or if it's just a dream that you have and you haven't taken the leap yet. Her business is there to serve you. She founded the Fresh Perspective community, which is a monthly shirt subscription and online community that focuses on providing tools, support, and resources to female small business owners. In a world where there's so much competition, she focuses on building communities. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this is she and I both believe in community over competition, collaboration over competition. And y'all are listening right now. I run a very similar business that she does, but we are very different and we target different people and we both come from a place of abundance, and that's why it works. We cheer each other on, and now I'm having her on the podcast. So Renee, welcome.
I am so excited. Huge fangirl moment. You are like the mecca when it came to building my business. I was like, subscription box podcast, and you came up and I have binged every single one. So I am ecstatic to be here because I learned a lot from your podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for saying that. I was really excited when you reached out to me and pitched to be on the podcast because, one, you are a podcaster yourself, so you know how to play this game. You know what to do. But two, you have a certain skill set that I don't. And it's very important to subscription box business owners. And so we're going to get all into that. But why don't you first just give them a little bit of your background so they can get to know you?
So pretty much I've worked for myself like my entire life. I just didn't know that I was an entrepreneur or anything like that. I didn't know. I didn't grow up in that. I worked, like, my mom was a single mom, worked 9 to 5. So I thought I was just weird and like to hustle for money. Like, so I never worked like corporate or anything like that. And I was a hairstylist, did spray tanning. So women is like my business. You know what I mean? Like making people feel good, connecting with people. I'm a total people person. And I ended up being a stay-at-home mom after I had my son and missed people. Like something was missing. And my husband's like, you need to do something, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not that cool. Like, I don't really know what to do. So I started a blog and it quickly evolved. As you know, it starts as one thing and then rolls and snowballs into something else. And I went to a women in business workshop and finally I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here. Like, these are my people. They were all women business owners. And that was when everything started. That was March of 2019. And I have hit the ground running ever since and have not looked back. So all of this has happened within like a year.
That's awesome.
So it's crazy.
How fun. And it's not about being cool enough to do something. It's finding out what like your superpower is and where you thrive. And clearly you thrive in community. And I felt the same way when I had my daughter. She is 9 now. How old's your boy?
7.
7. Okay. So I felt like I lost my identity briefly.
Yes.
Because I was doing the stay-at-home mom thing, which I never thought that I would do, but I was trying to embrace the role. But there was a bucket that wasn't being filled.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm really excited for you. That is super fast work too. March, you're coming up soon on your 1 year. So that's exciting. So you run the Fresh Perspective community. Will you tell everybody what that is?
Yeah, so it started out as I was doing a boutique in my business and I had a shirt that said "Babes Support Babes" on it, and it would sell out month after month, day after day. And I thought I'm crushing it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making all this money. I'm so working it. And my husband's like, no, honey, you're not. He's like, you're buying wholesale and you're selling one size out of the 6. Like, you are not doing anything. You need to create your own shirts. And I'm like, you're crazy. I don't know how to do that. So I got on Instagram, searched down a hashtag graphic designer for hire, and started coming up with designs with this young graphic designer. And I was like, started launching my own shirts. They did great. People were buying them. And then I was like, okay, the goal is a subscription. I want to do a monthly shirt subscription. Started that in April April/May was the first time. April's when I launched it. May was the first time, I shipped. But I was like, after probably 2 months, people were like wanting to connect because with social media, people would tag the shirts and they would be wearing the shirts and people would connect that way. And I'm like, something's missing. Like people kept asking, hey, you should have a Facebook group. You should have something. And I'm like, but I'm a shirt subscription. I'm the Boss Babe Shirt Club. Like that's what I do.
And I started following you because I I probably have like a gazillion empowering t-shirts. Like I just love them. And so I don't know how, I think I found you on Instagram and I started following you and I was like, oh, that's so fun. And so you were making these shirts, and tell us how that community kind of evolved. Then you also switched your business name, right?
Yeah. So I started with just the Facebook group and I was like, okay, so it's a shirt club, but now it's a community and people were connecting, and it started to kind of like, everybody would say it's the community. They wouldn't say it's the shirt club. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I guess we're a community now. And it's the shirt club didn't really fit the name anymore, right? Like everybody was like, well, what's the Boss Babe Shirt Club? Because it was more than that. And so when I would talk about it or people would share it with their friends, they would say like, oh, it's a community. It's not just you. Oh, by the way, you get a cool shirt. So I started to kind of evolve in that. The Fresh Perspective is new. That's a new rebrand. I'll circle back. But I was doing that, and I would highlight members of the community and I would ask them, which you're going to love this because I had to learn this lesson from you, is I would ask the members, hey, let me buy your stuff and I'll put it in the subscription to get more people using your products. Well, you don't get it for free. Like a lot of people don't understand is when you have a subscription box, you still have to pay for the items. And very rarely I think I've gotten 1 month for free. And it's okay because I want to support small businesses. That's what I did. So I was buying all of this stuff and putting them in the boxes, which, over 100 pieces is, that's a really expensive penny. So all of my profit was going towards the box, and I wasn't even a box. Like, you know what I mean? But you get sucked in because, like I said, nobody was doing what I was doing. So I kept thinking I had to be a subscription box. And so I kind of started to get off track, and I started to become a subscription box. And it just started to be kind of messy. I was starting to people were dropping off. It wasn't connecting. People weren't really feeling it. Like we were on Facebook, but Facebook, as you know, is so hard. Nobody was connecting. And it was kind of like, okay, I need to figure out something. And so I did a feedback form to my members, and I said, it was hard because they were real. They were honest, which is good. It's the best. It saved my business. I'm like, what do you like most about it? What is a pain point? Like, what is something you wish we could do better? What is something I could do, to provide more value? And it was mostly, one, we can't connect. Social media makes it so hard. We need to have a better platform. Two, all of the calls that I'm paying for, I'm not getting the emails. They're going to my junk, or I'm not getting reminders on my phone. So they were seeing no value in that, right? They were saying, well, I'm wasting it.
So you're doing Zoom calls each month, right?
Yes. So Zoom calls every single month with like education focus. That's like a huge part of our community is education focused. And so people were missing them, and they were like, hey, I don't see the value in this anymore because I'm missing it. And, it just wasn't anything that I needed. So I was asking their feedback. What do they like most about it? And a lot of the comments back were a fresh perspective on my business. And that's where I got the name. So we completely rebranded to now being the Fresh Perspective, which is pretty much exactly what we do, because as small business owners, you tend to be like this, so close to your business that you're in it so deep that you can't see it from a bird's eye view and you can't see it from a different perspective. And sometimes just to reach that next level or that next breakthrough, you just need a girlfriend or somebody to say, hey, have you thought of this? Or what if you use it this way? Because we're talking about our business every single day. And you tend to get in kind of like a, Groundhog Day. And with somebody else's opinion, all of a sudden, now you can see your business in a different light. So that's kind of where the Fresh Perspective came from. And now that is who we are, and no longer the Boss Babe Shirt Club.
I love it. What a great evolution. And I have a similar story in that when I first launched back in October 2016, it was more about the stuff, and it was about treating yourself and patting yourself on the back. You've worked hard. You deserve this. And then it wasn't but, 2 months in where people were saying, oh, the community is so much fun. We had inside jokes. We were connecting with each other. And as I would survey my customers, we usually do it twice a year. we're finding one of the questions that we asked was, what encouraged you to join and what encouraged you to stay? And while most of the people originally said, I joined for the stuff, they would stick around for the community. And so it was almost like they were lured in by shiny object syndrome. Like, I need that pen and I need that stationery, or whatever, or that book. They stuck around because we were connecting, we were making progress. And I love the fresh perspective idea that it's so true. You get so deep in your own business that sometimes you pass up the easy way and you like make something harder than what it is.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
If that isn't like small business 101, like,
Right?
like every small business owner is like, we make things so hard for ourselves. And it's like hard because you're in a room 90% of the time by yourself and you're making all the decisions. Right? There isn't a guidebook. Like, there's no do this and you'll get this result. It's just not like that. It's so messy. It's so confusing, and it's not for the faint of heart. And so it's like, we make things so much harder than they need to be. 1000%. Yeah.
So, okay, let's dive into some operation stuff. Let's talk about the platforms you use, because my audience knows I use and recommend Cratejoy, particularly because it's the easiest way I feel like to get launched. But you have some different things you're using. You know, you've got your community, you have variations in your box. And so if you guys haven't heard of variations, that means people are getting different items. So for Renee, people might be getting a small, medium, large, extra large, 2XL t-shirt. So that's called a variation. Another variation could be if you allow people to choose a product or choose a color, that type of thing. And that's something we haven't covered on this podcast. So I'm really excited to get deep into that in a little bit. But first, let's talk about what platforms you use.
So I went to Cratejoy at first, but like I said, it was more, I was like, am I ready for this? I didn't want to start off the game because I was like, is this even like viable? You know what I mean? Can I even design this many shirts? And I was like, I don't know if I'm like committed enough. So I was like, let me just roll on my own. And I was like, it's okay. But I love Cratejoy, highly recommend it. So I started with looking around and I'm like, okay, I use Squarespace for my actual website. And Squarespace offers subscription options. But the downside with Squarespace is that they don't let you choose the ship and bill date for every customer. Yeah, so it would be a nightmare. Shipping. Exactly. Yeah. And that is a nightmare. Remember, you had a topic on your podcast about like, what kind of shipping do you want to do? Do you want to do annual or do you want to do it where you're welcoming in people every month? And I'm like, well, ideally, you know, when people sign up, you want to ship it because that's like what you want to do. You don't want to be waiting, but inventory wise, it's a nightmare. And
it's so tough.
It is.
I think it works really well with, replenishment style services. So like my friend Jessica, who runs All Girl Shave Club, she does the ad hoc or anniversary shipping where, for example, if someone's on I think she does bi-monthly. So you would get charged every 2 months on the anniversary of the date that you signed up for. Whereas you and I are doing batch shipping, batch billing. So there's a specific day of the month where all of our operations run on.
Exactly. And it's like, that's like go time. Like, that is what I like to call go time. I live month to month. Like, my mind is always month to month because right when ship day or like, you know, charge day comes, that's when I go to work. Like, although we work every single day, but you know what I mean?
For sure.
ShipStation was going to be a nightmare with that.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're on Squarespace. And then, but you're not using
not using their shipping or their subscription service because of that downside, because I didn't want inventory. I was scorned from having my boutique for inventory. I do not want inventory in my house. Like inventory, no thank you. So I started Googling because I don't have a lot of the places that do subscription run with Shopify and I don't have Shopify. So I was very limited. So I came across Subly just on a quick Google search, read the reviews. It was pretty good. So I signed up for it and it's amazing. I love Subly. They are great. I can do my billing. I can do my date. They have email set up. I mean, they have all your analytics. They have, you know, churn rates. They have like surveys. And that's how I can do my shirts because like we said, I had the problem of sizing and options. And I'm like, okay, we got to figure this out because sizing, you have to have a certain amount. And I started with just small, medium, large, extra large. And I was like, let's just start there. And So you do a survey. When people sign up before checkout, they have to put their email address in, then they have to put in their size. So a lesson learned with that is they can only choose one size. I was having people choose 2 sizes and I didn't know this. So when I would go to ship, the dates there would be more shirts, and then you know how that goes. You have to literally unwrap, check everything. It was a nightmare. And it was all because, so we had to do like a CSV file. Like, it was insane, but it was because people didn't know. So they would choose small, medium, like not knowing like, hey, I'll just do a small. No, I'll do a medium. And they would click 2 sizes. So that was a lesson learned. So take note. Make sure you have a survey and they can choose one option, not 2. So now they do now it's, extra small all the way to 2XL. They do their option and then they check out. So that way I constantly have their sizing all in a file. So then when I go to Subly and everything is charged for that day, everything runs on the 15th. Once I get that charge, all those orders go to ShipStation. That's what I ship through, and that connects with Subly. And then I do all of Subly provides me with all my survey answers. I just click, this answer contains small, and then I get all my numbers, send it to my printer.
Okay. So the term that they're using is survey. So if you guys are listening, think of that as like during the onboarding process, you're just asking them a question. And that question is where you put your variation.
Exactly.
Cratejoy does have this as well. You have to add a step in your subscription product checkout, but they also do this. I'm sure most of the platforms probably allow this, but it's usually not out of the box. You're going to have to activate that type of feature.
I had to. Yeah, you had to do it in Subly as well.
Okay. So when you're figuring out your inventory, let's talk about that. So how do you know how many smalls to buy, how many mediums? Because I'm assuming that you're buying them farther in advance, or are you buying them?
No, it's go time. Like I said, yeah. So it is, like I said, go time. So when the 15th comes in, that is the cutoff to get that month's shirt.
Renewable, right.
Exactly. So 15th, they sign up. And if you sign up before the 15th, so if you sign up from the 1st or the previous month, then as long as you're in the 15th, you get charged that day, but you get shipped on that month, right? But if they come after the 15th, they have to wait the next month. They don't get this month's shirt. And I had to be strict about that because in the beginning, I'm like, no, I'll just bring them in. It's not a big deal. No, don't do it. It creates so much drama because I was doing it thinking like no big deal, but it messed up everything. You have to stay strict because once you do it for one person, then you got to do it for another person. Then you got to do it for and then you go back on your word and it doesn't work. Yeah.
You know what we do is we add the last month's box as an add-on when we switch over to our next box. So if say they ordered on December 1st, that would technically for us be the next month's box. And we will say, do you want, like during checkout, we'll say, you can still snag the November box. You know what I mean? So we use an add-on to offload that excess inventory. And that allows them to get a shipment right away too, because we'll ship last month's box right away. And then they'll wait for that following month's box.
Got it. That makes sense. And
so
I think I don't have any inventory, #blessed. I don't even have that option now. So at least I order the amount, you know what I mean? And then I save the shirts and I use it as like a Black Friday, Small Business Saturday to my community members that they can buy if they want another shirt or if they want to send it as a gift. I have it exclusive for the community.
So who's printing your shirts then?
So I have a printer in St. Louis. So this is another logistic kind of thing because we're out of state. So she is one of my really good friends now because we work together every single month. So she is out of state. So we have very strict logistics. Like numbers have to be in at this time, the design, the PMS colors, everything has to be set, sizing of the design, everything done before that 15th. So she's good to go. So I email her after all the orders come in, right? I go in and I check my surveys. I say, okay, extra small, medium, large. I click the button and it says like has to contain this answer. Then I check all of those sizing and if they're skipping or if they're, you know what I mean, paused or whatever, then I go ahead and get the numbers. And what I learned this lesson is the first time I did it, I didn't order any extra. So I had, say there was 10 smalls. I ordered 10 smalls exactly. and didn't take into consideration women like to change their size, or if something were to happen, or if a shirt had a hole or a package went missing. I mean, why would you order extra? Right? Like, so I learned that lesson. So always order extra. So now I order 2 extra of each size.
Okay.
So that way I have them on deck, like just in case. So I have my sizes. I get them to her that night. All of the sizes totaled, everything, style of shirt, everything, all set in an email. And she's ready to go and has to print and ship to me before the 24th so that I can get my stuff ready. Like hers has to leave her warehouse by the 24th to get it to me by the 28th because my ship day is the 28th.
Okay. So she prints, ships them all to you, and then you package from your home office, I'm assuming,
Yes,
and then ship them there?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. So I get the shirts, I fold all the shirts with a t-shirt folder, wrap them all up, and then I do a handwritten note card, like a thank you card with like a motivation, tying in the shirt theme with, the packaging. So usually on the 15th, once I have everybody's order in, I start doing like 20 to 30 note cards a day to get me up to that number, because it's a lot. I handwritten all of them and it's over 100 orders. So it's a lot. So
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just take every day I'll sit on the couch, put a show on, and I'll just write my notes. Like it's super easy. And then I like how you said when they sign up, you do the option to add a box. So mine is, I said Happy Mail, which is like a sticker pack of all of our previous designs with a handwritten card so that they get something in the mail. You know what I mean? Because it sucks when you sign up for something and you can't get it for another month. You're like, dude, this is not fun. So I don't post it, like nobody knows about it. It's just like a secret little handwritten card, and they say, thank you so much. I'm so excited for you to be here. Can't wait for you to get your new shirt. And then I give them like a sticker pack of previous design shirts. And then that way they get a little bit of like a thank you.
I have one of those stickers on my laptop right now. It says community over competition.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. And I'm like, and so it's just a little way to say thank you. And I mean, I understand that it's not fun to not, have something tangible in your hand right away, because that's just why we order things. But so yeah, the logistics side is definitely, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of like, you have to have a lot of trust in your team. Like she will never let me, like I've never in 9 months have been let down. My shirts have gone out the 28th every single month. So it's a good, open, communicated relationship. You need to be done by this day. I need to be done by this day. And it's a team effort to get the job done.
That's great. And I think what I really love about this too is I feel a little envious because you have one vendor and you nail that like process every single month. Whereas I'm constantly working with various vendors and trying to like manage logistics for 4 to 6 products. And that's one of the things I teach in my bootcamp is to keep it simple. And one of the things that I'm doing this year to keep it more simple is we are trying to narrow it down to a handful of vendors that we really want to work with. And so maybe we have one vendor that we're going to get all of our stationery from, one vendor that we're going to get 4 of our books from. It's just narrowing it down. And so I think that's great that you have one vendor that you have your process nailed down. And so it sounds like it's like a match made in heaven.
It is 100. And it wasn't the first one I went with either. You know what I mean? Like I had to learn that lesson. So I had another one and the price was it wasn't realistic. And so you have to ask around, you have to get quotes, you have to see if it's a good fit. Like just because the first one doesn't fit doesn't mean like you're doomed forever. It means go find another person. And it's okay, but you have to make sure that relationship works for both of you, because if you don't, then the communication's not there, you're not happy, and it's not a fun process. Where me and her have such a good relationship that, we're honest, she knows what I need, and she puts me first because she knows that it's a guaranteed income for her every single month as well. You know what I mean? So she kind of helps me out as far as that goes. And if I'm behind, she'll say, hey, I folded all the shirts for you. Like, don't worry. You know what I mean? It's a give and take, kind of relationship where we support each other because we're both small business owners and we're very girl power around here. So she is a woman as well that owns it. So it's very girl power.
Sounds like you have each other's back. And then there's a ton of trust that you've built within the partnership.
Exactly. And it's like she knows exactly, what I need, and I'm very open about it. And I think that's whether you're working with vendors or multiple vendors, having that open communication and really being direct and saying, I need it by this date. If you're not able to make this happen, let me know. It's okay. Yeah. But there's no, give and take. It's literally, I need it by this day. Like, that's it.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, I know you've got some tips on how to manage size products. We've talked a lot about it. One of the things you said was you order 2 extra of each.
Yes,
That's great.
ordering extra.
Yeah. And I teach my bootcamp students to save about 1% of your orders in case of those lost or damaged goods. I mean, ultimately, something's going to happen. A package is going to get lost in the mail, or it's going to get rained on, or someone steals it, or something's going to happen. Or, in your case, it could be the print could be off, or in my case, maybe a book was damaged. So I always say, don't always sell out. You need to save some for customer service needs. So what other tips do you have when it comes to sized products?
Size products for sure. And with women, we are very weird about the way we like our clothes to fit. Like it has to be, some like it tight, some like it loose. So having a size that's universal for every body type. So with me, I go with a unisex fit because some people don't like, a super tight fit. Everybody wants like kind of a cozy, kind of chill tee. So having a unisex style or some sort of flattering style for universal body types that looks good in a small or 2XL, it just doesn't, you want to make sure you're fitting every kind of body type. As well as having a high quality product. So with fabric, it's very important. I went through like literally 70 samples of shirts to try and find the perfect one because I'm bougie. I'm like, I need it to be like, I didn't want it to be some cheapy shirt that nobody would wear. I wanted it to be one that you can wash, you can live in, and you just love it. So I switch off between 2 because of colors. So I have a tri-blend that's like the softest material, but sometimes the color isn't as true as I would want. So I switch off between another blend, and that way I can have the variation. So if it's like a white shirt or if it's a lighter color, I would choose a different option just depending on the design, because sometimes the design doesn't look good, and but that goes into ordering samples. Like you say, always order samples because you never know what you're going to get, and you want to feel it in your hands, especially if you're ordering for, customers. You want to make sure that's your name. You need to put your name on that. So you want it to look nice. But mostly it's finding that and then having a message or a question or a feature or some sort of info page or something that describes the fit for people. Like usually if somebody asks me, hey, I want to sign up for your thing, I just don't know what size to get, I will literally send them a video of every single shirt, and I will say, this is the medium, this is how it fits, this is the length, this is how it fits, this is what I'm wearing in this picture. I will send them members that are wearing that size pictures, so that way they know, because you're always scared when it comes to ordering online. Like you never know if it's going to fit. And then that way I have extra. If they get a small and they're like, hey, it was too big or it was too small, I can send them a new shirt, and then usually I take care of everything for them. But making sure you have stuff for women, especially, we're very picky. So making sure you have the different variations as well.
How do you handle returns or exchanges for size differences?
To be 100% honest, I've only had one in 9 months.
That's
Isn't
awesome.
that crazy? That's why I'm saying like you have to have a unisex relaxed fit, because that way they can wear it in different ways. So like ours, you can tie them up with a knot. You can put them in you can wear them with leggings. You can shove them in your pants and make it like a tucked tee style. Like I've literally only had one return. It's crazy.
Now that just goes to show you that your product research is paying off.
100%. Like it was just one, and I ended up letting her keep it so she can give it to her daughter, and then I just sent her a new one, just giving her good customer service, because one, I'm not going to have her ship it back. Double shipping, not going to work. I'm like, just keep it. No. It's fine, not a big deal. There you go.
Exactly. We do that sometimes too. If a box ships by accident or we ship the wrong thing, a lot of times we'll say, hey, is there someone that you could gift it to, or just enjoy it yourself? It's that customer service goes so far, you just wouldn't believe it. So I think you definitely did the right thing there. I was just thinking about what you were saying is that you have a video that shows the different sizes and the different fits and stuff. That could easily be put on a web page and have all of that content in there, and that could be like your sizing troubleshooting page or whatever.
Exactly.
So you can repurpose all of that. It's so awesome. Okay, so I know there's going to be some people listening that they're like, I need those t-shirts. So why don't you tell everyone where people can follow you or find more information about Fresh Perspective?
So I'm at My Girlfriend Renee on everything. Like I make it super easy on every platform. I hang out mostly on Instagram, but at My Girlfriend Renee. And then my website is actually mygirlfriendrenee.com. So I make it very easy for everybody to find me.
Perfect. Okay, everybody, you got to head over to mygirlfriendrenee.com and follow her on Instagram, because she has the most fun stories in Reels. I just learned how to use Reels because I watched your Reels tutorial, which was
What?
amazing. I haven't
Love it,
done
love
one
it, love
yet.
it. Do
Yeah,
it. Do
I have to do one.
it.
I will. I have to do one. But the way that you shared that and like screen shared and explained exactly what to push, you just have a knack for teaching. And so I
100%.
love how generous you are with, as you're learning things, you're sharing them too.
Exactly. Community over competition. It all comes
That's
back in the
right,
end. You got to
girl.
give to get.
Yes, I love it. That's why it's such a good fit for you to be on the podcast. So we talked a lot about variations today. We talked about sizing tips and how you logistically manage your things. I'm going to have you on the podcast another time too to talk about how you manage your community, because you and I were talking offline about this, about how you didn't want to use Facebook, you wanted to use something else. But I don't want to dive into that today because we've already gone over so much stuff. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. So I would like to invite you back on so we can talk about community and how you manage it, because I want people to see different perspectives and hear different perspectives. I don't want to come into this saying, you have to use Cratejoy and Facebook and pirate ship just like me. Like, that's what I use and love, and that's what I teach. But that might not be the best fit for everybody. And I
Right.
think you found that too. You know, you did your research, you tried to figure out what was going to be the best fit for you, and you made those choices. So, and you're succeeding, and I'm super happy for you and cheering you on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just listen to the people that are going before you and
Yeah.
take it with a grain of salt and see if it could work. And if not, say thank you and it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever works for you, as with every business, you know?
Yes, exactly. So, Renee, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. You guys make sure you follow her on Instagram. Get your Boss Babe t-shirts over at the Fresh Perspective community, and we'll have you on again.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys learned a lot.
Yay, thanks, Renee. Bye.